Today I will go through my top 5 lines. At 5 is the E100. The E100 line starts off with the VK36-1H. This tank has very good frontal protection, with most tanks struggling to pen its front and lower plate. Along with this, the gun is really good and can dish out high damage. The next tank after the VK is the Tiger 1. The Tiger 1 is not like movies and stories, as its front plate is rather lacking. However, that can be changed by angling and wiggling. Along with this, the gun continues from the VK and keeps its reliability in penning and damage. Along with this is quick for a tank of its size. The next tank after that is the Tiger 2. The Tiger 2 has improved front plate being angled. Not only does the angle help prevent tanks from penetrating, it's also a lot thicker, meaning most tanks struggle with it. The turret is also improved, however tanks can pen the turret cheeks and the lower plate. The Tiger 2 improves the gun from the Tiger 1. This gives it exceptional pen, meaning that you won't struggle with anything you face. The tank after that is the E75. The E75 is basically the Tiger 2 if it went to the gym. The front plate is thicker along with the turret cheeks, and the gun is better too. All around it is very similar to the Tiger 2, so play it similar, just watch out for Tier X tanks. Now finally, the E100. The E100, the big boy of it all. The tank has very good front plate armor along with a very good angling capability. The tank does have a weak turret to hold rounds and a weak lower plate. However, these can be changed by angling and wiggling around the place to prevent penetration being an easy task. You get 2 guns with the E100, however I prefer the stock gun. This is due to it having more DPM in a short period of time, allowing me to get more shots out quicker on targets. Might miss on the 150mm gun. D100 also has a huge health pool, which allows you to play it with more mistakes, allowing your health to tank it for you and support your team more. Overall, I would 100% recommend this line, as it gives a punching bag type support for your team. In fourth is the IS-7. The IS-7 line starts at the KV-1 South. Overall, this tank is decent, however falls off in the armor department compared to the KV-1. The good thing about the KV-1 South is the 400 Alpha gun, which takes chunks out of tanks. Next up is the IS-1. The IS-1 is very similar to the KB-1 South, but with the hull being a bit more challenging to pan as long as the turret. Overall a small improvement, so the play style for these two tanks don't change at all. That leads us to the IS-3. The IS-3 is a huge upgrade from the IS-1. This includes the armor speed and the penetration. This tank is really good and doesn't struggle against many tanks it faces. However, these lower plate requires constant attention as it is a big weak spot. The next tank is the IS-8. The IS-8 or T-10 is basically the older brother of the IS-3. It's a similar design but with a better gun, armor and mobility. Overall this doesn't change the play style at all. Now finally we reach the big bug, the IS-7. The IS-7 is very similar to the IS-3 and IS-8 in the fact that it has good armor, good gun and good mobility. This tank also has very troll side armor that can bounce shells it shouldn't. The only downside to this tank is the lower plate and the lack of gun depression. Overall this tank is very reliable and worth getting. At third we have the Kranvane. This line starts at the STRV-74, and it's an odd tank to say the least. The armor is not the best, the gun is decent, and the mobility is average. The only good thing about this tank is the -15 gun depression. The next tank after is the Leo. The Leo is another interesting tank with the gun and armor getting slightly better, of also facing tougher opponents, so the upgrade doesn't do much for the tank. The next tank is the Emil-1. This is when the Swedish engineering start to really shine, and you can see a really good tank and the start of the Kron. This tank has good turret armor, good mobility and a good gun. Overall is a good tank. The next tank after that is the Emil-2. The Emil-2 is when you can see the Kron start to form, has very good turret armor, amazing gun, and good mobility. This is one of the best tier 9 tanks, maybe even the best. Finally we have the Kron. The Kron is the divine niche at the end of the day. Exceptional turret armor, a dreamy gun, and good mobility. This tank is so good and also so fun to play. It requires more of a hull down type play style.
Enemy armor is damaged.
Overall, this tank is amazing, worth getting.
Vehicle destroyed.
Taking number 2 is the Type 71. We start off with the Mitsu. The Mitsu is an odd tank. It has good armor, decent gun, and is kinda slow. It is obvious at this stage that Japan is not a tank engineering country. Next up is the Ru-Nu. Now the Ru looks like the Japanese version of a Tiger 1, and it does that well. It has a good gun, improved armor, and the same sluggish speed. However, it's fun to play. After the Ru-Nu is the Ru-2. The Ru-2 is the upgraded version of the Ru-Nu, bringing angled armor, improving its protection. A bigger gun. This gives it more damage, but a lower fire rate and a higher top speed too. Overall, this tank is fun and also very effective on the battlefield, making it annoying to fight if used correctly. After that, it is the Chi-Se. This tank brings along the amazing armor, but also improves the gun. This increases its protection, damage, and penetration, however does slightly increase the reload. Overall, another annoying tank to fight if used with correct strategy. Next up is the Type 68. The Type 68 is basically the smaller version of the Type 71. It has very similar design to it. Anyway, this tank has a very good gun with high damage and a high pen. The armor also gets increased slightly to making it the challenge to pen, however this comes with it being slower to overall a good tank. And finally, we have the Type 71. This thing must have been kissed by the Emperor, as it is amazing. Good gun, high damage, average speed, good health pool, and the most annoying front plate paired with the annoying turret. The lower plate is also hard to hit, making it even more annoying to hit. This thing is easily the best heavy tank is the game, and it's so annoying to come across. Overall a must-get line. The number 1 tank I have gone for is the 50 meters. This line starts at the VK31D. This tank is not the best, the armor sucks and the gun is mediocre. The only good thing for it is that the decent speed it can gain. The next tank, the Panther, isn't much better, the armor is just as bad, however the speed and firepower is increased so there's bonus points to the kitty. The next tank is the Panther 2. This Panther increases the firepower of the tank, however, slower than the Panther. It doesn't offer much over the Panther, so it's mediocre. Next up is the 50. The 50 increases the firepower, penetration, and speed of the tank, allowing it to get around the map quicker and dish out more damage. The only downside is the tank has poor pen for tier 9 and struggles to cut through armor effectively, making it more of a flanking type of tank. Finally, we have the cake. The masterpiece, the wonderful the 50 meters. This thing improves from the 50 in literally every department. More health, damage, fire rate, pen, armor and speed. This thing becomes a demon. The front plate is a pain to get through and the turret cheeks are small enough to make it a problem. The tank gets APCR, which kinda sucks, however it rarely struggles to pen any tank it may face and can outspeed many tanks. It also has reactive armor. This tank is worth suffering through the others to get. Thanks for watching. I tried my best in this video to give an idea of each tank in the lines.